Welcome back, beautiful souls. Let me tell you something. The fact that this video is about the top things you need to know about this Virgo new moon that is happening on September 15th, 2023, and there was so much of the Virgo hitting me during this whole video is just hilarious. Like hilarious. I wasn't gonna record this because I was like, I don't have my cards, but honestly, whenever I channel for you guys, I don't really use cards. Like I use them visually for you guys, but this is exciting because I'm just like giving you the channel message and that's it. Like that's the juice that I'm giving you. So today we're gonna be going over what you need to know about this Virgo new moon that is happening on September 15, 2023, 3 days before the day of and 3 days after. If there's any Virgos in the house, let me know. Where is it placed in your chart? How are you feeling? Just fam, overall, how are you feeling this Virgo new moon? Is it feeling good? We have shifted into a new season of fall. I do believe, especially the way I talk about different moons, that nature itself falls with the seasons. So for some of us, we're stepping into our fall, and for others of us, we're moving into our spring. So there is a transition wherever you are in the world. And how's your body reacting to this transition? So I'm really excited. Before we get into this energy update video, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, like, subscribe, put notification bells so you do not miss a video. And if you're new here, hello, it's so nice to meet you. Welcome to the community. I'm so happy you're here. Please introduce yourself down below with a rainbow emoji. What's your name? Where are you at? How are you feeling? Like just all the things, because we love to get to know our fams and you guys are family. So introduce yourself, family. And also a couple of things I want to share with you guys. One being a very exciting announcement. The first thing is that I'm offering and opening my one-on-one mentoring for fall. I'm so excited. I'm being very conscious with when I want to open this space because the depth of it, the depth of the medicine and the depth of holding and just the deep dedication I have for holding people and holding you and healing. So if you want to go deeper beyond the YouTube channel and you want to really go deeper into ancient modalities of healing, going so deep beyond ancestral, beyond this time, the deepest essence, please let me know in the link tree down below. You can give me an email and connect with me and I can let you know what the next steps are and see if it's a good fit. This is not for the souls who just want to bypass. This is for the souls who are ready to do the deep healing. The last thing I want to share with you guys is a big announcement. Drum roll, please. I'm literally saying this for you guys and I'm so excited. I am opening my 2024 Earth Dharma program. If you don't know what Earth Dharma is and you've recently followed me, this is a 1-year program to teach you to step into your Dharma as a space holder, as a guide for what people call the new earth, but for the future, for the evolution of this earth. And if you feel resonant with wounded healer, if you feel resonant with the healer that has healed the wounded healer, if you have a space holding and what you do right now is nothing to what you used to do, and you're noticing that the space, the gifts that you're doing has evolved and it's just not resonating, you know, you're not attracting the right souls for your mission here, your Dharma, because of the depth and the shift you're going into, you want to evolve, this is for you. If you haven't ever taken a program and you're interested in stepping into the essence of understanding what your Dharma is and really going into that responsibility, because I always say if you know you have a gift and you're not using it, you are then hiding a gift to this world. So it's that responsibility, and not everyone's ready for that in every lifetime, but if you're feeling resonant to it, I invite you to do this. We go into an in-person intensive. It is very deep hand-on. We have calls every month together. You get mentoring with me one-on-one with that as well throughout the group. There's so much. So what I'll do is down below, there will be a link for you to apply. The first step you got to do is do the meditation. It's mandatory for the application. The next step is you're going to fill out the Google form. Once I've looked at the Google form and you've done that step, I will reach out to the applicants that feels aligned and we will get to chat with each other and see if it's a good fit. This is limited. I only have 8 to 10 spots for this year. This is where I'm putting a lot of my attention with. Currently just about to go into an intensive with my group right now. We're going to Brazil, so really excited. But yeah, all the information's down below. You can give a read of it, and applications are going to close soon. I'm not putting it out for long. I'll let you guys know in the next video the due date, but I will say those who apply first, there's an extra surprise for you. So anyways, leave it down below. I know the souls who are ready will come and step into that, to step into leadership. There's so much we're going to be doing with this together. Okay, let's get into this Virgo full moon and what you need to know about it. So Virgo energetically gets a really bad rep, I feel like. A lot of people, when you look online, they're always talking about Virgos, they're perfectionists. They always want to fix things, do things, all those things. They tend to be a lot in their mind. Yes, there is that, but Virgos are the people who see the details that maybe a lot of signs don't see, right? And that can be beautiful. However, when the cosmos, specifically with this new moon in Virgo, it's showing us where that can hinder us sometimes, where that can sometimes be a block, sometimes be self-sabotaging. So this new moon, as you know, new moons are a time of creating new habits, new beginnings. It's all about internally ourselves. It's about family. It's about stepping into, not getting rid of energy per se, but really focusing on how I can create new and look at things in a new perspective so I can evolve for the next cycle, which the full moons, then I can know what I need to shift, what is working for me, what is not. So the theme that's coming up with this Virgo new moon and how it's going to affect us all, September 15th, 2023, 3 days before the day of and 3 days after, things are starting off a little chaotic, okay? We are just coming from a summer. We had 2 full moons, one of them being a super full moon. Then we had the Lion's Gate. Like, we were having so many changes. The person you were on August 1st no longer exists in this eternal time of reality. What that means is that in September, it is a time where yourself, your being, is getting to know this new version of you. And it feels a lot of chaos because there's so many changes happening at so many times. You can't get your notebook and plan it out. That's really the energy of it. So it's the seasonal energies. Fall or spring are very connected in a way. Spring, things are blooming, new beginning. And for some of you, your season is spring right now. For those of you in Australia and that side of the world, it is spring. It is the time of birthing. It's the time of the new beginnings. It's that aspect. And then fall. Fall is a time where the leaves are coming off of the trees. They're changing color. They're shifting. They're moving into a new season. They're preparing for the time that they don't even meet, right? And it was interesting. I was talking to my sister, the one I'm actually with right now in the spa. We're doing a spa time together to reset, and I visited. We were discussing over dinner about the aspect of, some people believe that our life is this preparation for something we aren't even aware of. And I really resonated with that. And this new moon in Virgo is knowing that how can you prepare on your checklist everything that you want to do, whether that is in your relationship, when you want to have children, when you want to switch your job, when you want to move, whatever it is, when you want to just start a new habit, the little things, when you don't even know where you're going. So the beauty of the great mystery of the universe and the moons is that this Virgo new moon is saying that the chaos that's happening is really to help you for the new beginning, for those of you who are in the fall season that you can't see, that you can't reach, that you can't taste, that you can't sense just yet. But your soul can sense it, your soul can feel it, your soul knows it. And when we have these perfectionism tendencies based on past experiences and comparison, that can block us from things, and it can add more chaos and more self-sabotaging. But in a whole, without us self-sabotaging, there is this chaotic energy because it's preparing us for the ending we need and the beginning we need. And the thing is there's not really any end or beginning. It's eternal. It's just an evolving cycle, right? So you are preparing yourself this fall to evolve into the new cycle that has shifted since August 1st. And it's a big shift for you. So we kind of have this energy of like quiet hermit productivity, less social activity. This summer was probably more social for a lot of us, and given the past few years we've had, probably it was a lot on our nervous system. So our soul's naturally just preparing ourselves to hermit a little bit, take things slow down. Some of you might even have some physical elements that have occurred during this time or right before this time. This could be that you end up going to get a checkup or something comes up, and this is just your body saying slow down, okay? There's a lot of chaos that you can't grasp, and for those of you who are trying to make it look perfect and you're fearful that people will think you're not all put together, this is actually a wake-up call for you. I always say that our health things that come up in our life, like a lot of people have to take time off, for example, that's coming up for some reason, maybe for some of you watching, or maybe a health issue that's coming up. This is to support you. This is to help you at the end of the day, okay? So again, there is this aspect of just really coming into viewing the chaos and noticing that that chaos is of your old self that is now meeting your human life in reality, because all the soul work with the Lion's Gate and the super full moon and the other full moon we had last month, that was stuff that we couldn't just see that were going to happen, right? We were just looking at being like, okay, I'm putting these manifestations. I want this abundance. I want to move out these negative energy in my environments. I want to bring in positive energy. I want to shift my space. I want all those things, right? But we weren't really seeing it. Now we're seeing it. And then maybe some of you are even going to think like, oh man, but I did all this work. Why isn't it happening yet? And if you have that thought, just know that it is happening. Sometimes we need chaos for the storm to calm, right? Not saying self-sabotage and creating chaos, but I mean universal chaos has to happen to clear and to create this new space where you can't attach to the old at all. And that's what this Virgo new moon's about. It's like, come on, nothing else to attach. You made that promise. You made that contract to your soul in August. Let's stick to it, right? And you got this. The other thing to know about this Virgo new moon that's happening on September 15th, 2023, 3 days before the day and 3 days after, is you are learning the soul lessons of how to create in times of change, specifically when your emotional stability is on edge. So when we're at these hardest times, these are the times where the lessons really drop, if we allow it to drop. And with the Virgo new moon, is asking yourself, what is your soul doing right now to prepare you to hold the energy that you are going to meet in that next season? So for some of you, if you're stepping into fall, what is your soul preparing you for emotionally for you to hold these new seeds in the spring? For those of you in spring, what is your soul preparing for you to start as a new beginning, new habits, so then when fall comes around, you can then shed those leaves so much easily. So this is all about learning your soul lessons. Where you find your soul lessons in astrology is your Chiron. Look up on your birth chart to find this. One of my favorite websites to use is astro.com. You can look up your Chiron. Your Chiron is actually going to tell you and the sign what is your soul lesson. So for example, if your Chiron is in Virgo, you can look up Chiron in Virgo and read about it and just see what it relates to you. Right? If it's in Leo, you can look and see what it relates. Remember, even though it's Virgo, I want you to ask yourself, if it's a different sign, it's not Virgo and Chiron, ask yourself, what is the soul lesson that my soul needs to understand, that I need to step out of the way and stop trying to control or trying to have an expectation of how my soul or how I'm supposed to receive these lessons, because that's what's blocking me from creating these new habits to nourish my soul, to support myself, and to allow myself to be emotionally stable no matter what this season is. Right? But there's some beauty in the storm of chaos, right? Because there's that feeling when you have that argument with a partner about something you disagree about. And even though you both disagree, you can come out of that conversation and say, oh my God, I feel that we've come to a common respect of openness, right? We've been able to openly converse what we disagree and agree on. And if you were to hold that chaos, these emotions would just rumble within you. So it's learning how to be with it, to communicate with it, to love within the chaos, to not feel guilty for the chaos, to honor your chaos, right? The more you can do that, the more that you will be able to drop that clarity of what are the new the new intentions I need to create to remove those expectations I put on myself, or even the lessons of expectations that others have put on me. The next thing you need to know about this Virgo new moon that's happening on September 15th, 2023, 3 days before the day of and 3 days after, is to hold what you are calling in. Remember, the world does not stop growing, evolving, and living, even when we have chaos in our life. How can you gain clarity within yourself instead of outside sources? So this is a beautiful one. The one that really comes up to me is like, there's too many cooks in the kitchen. Cooks in the kitchen can be externally, could be like you constantly looking for other people for advice to reassure your intuition. Yeah, we're gonna clear that through this time and allow yourself to what do you need to do to allow yourself to really believe your voice, to believe in your intuition? Because no matter what people say and how many cooks in the kitchen that you ask that are considered experts, when really the expert is the person asking the question here, in this case is you, is your being, is your soul, is your subconscious, is your shadow. Those are the parts of you that you should be asking the question. So here it's really saying that, you know, the world doesn't stop, right? And sometimes we feel like when there's chaos, we go into the space of blaming the world or blaming the external effects of the world as a way to self-soothe ourselves, when really what we're doing is we're creating this sense of like negativity. And the biggest thing I always say is the biggest karmic debt, the biggest negativity, the biggest pain that this world has is the one that's right on the tip of your tongue, which is your words. Let that sit. The tip of your tongue is the essence of your expectations, is the essence of the chaos, is the essence of the clarity sometimes, the non-ability to receive that clarity. Because when we put on the tip of our tongue the words, the world, the way we see the world, the way we think the world sees us, we are then creating that connection and that cord to who we are and what we believe we are. So for example, we can say, I don't want to do this because what if this person thinks this? I feel like this because this happened to me in the past. Those words that are tipping in your tongue is becoming a truth of some sort within your being, and it's something to look at, right? So here it's understanding that the chaos that's happening in this world, instead of allowing it to be an attachment to your being, because of these things happening around me, this is who I am. This is why I cannot be here. Why don't we look at it and say, okay, because these things are happening around me, what is it calling me to look at as far as expectations, emotional stability, and the ability for me to not constantly try to perfect and control things in my vicinity? When we can honor that, we then can ask ourselves that question. Now, where are these external sources and cords coming from connected to the tip of my tongue, the tip of my throat chakra, the tip of my consciousness? You get me? Are you with me? So this is really, really a potent message and medicine that I feel like can support you so much. And maybe you want to rewatch this part because there is so much to grasp. But again, I just want to reread this to hold, you know, what you are calling in. Remember, the world does not stop growing, evolving, living, and even its chaos doesn't either. So don't allow the moments of this world to hold you down, but rather for you to look at what's witnessing this world and be an observer this new moon in Virgo. Be the observer and notice how it's emotionally affecting you. Don't attach it, see it, witness it, and then tap into that and ask yourself, is there a truth there? Is there something I need to look at? And where can I nourish myself with new habits and new beginnings here? The next thing you need to know about this Virgo new moon is when the time is right, I will do this. This came up as such a phrase. The time will never be right because you are claiming for blah, whatever it is not right enough for you to hold that. Creating nourishing habits and practices to support the part of you that feels unable when you need to see that you yourself is able. So many people say, you know, I will not do this. The biggest thing I can ask yourself is, what is the emotional resistance that you hold within you? And look at that, because that is your deepest medicine. nourish and love that like you would love a newborn baby, like you would love the baby that you are. If you were holding yourself as a baby in your hands right now, how would you nourish and hold that baby? How would you protect that baby? How would you allow that baby to be prepared to come into this world and not feel like they need to fix something, change something, be something else, right? When you can do that for them to honor and choose what they want to be, you're giving them that permission. You're giving yourself actually that permission to say, when the time is right, the time will never be right. It's only when it's right when you claim it. So again, if there is something that you hold as a pause right now, and I know retrograde's ending, so I know if there's a pause, there's been things that haven't been working out for you during retrograde, now is the time to do the things. You know, give it after the 15th. You can start doing all the contracts and signing and the big changes and the buying the house and all these things, because the clarity will drop in, right? But also keep in mind that when you say that when the time is right, you're attaching that perspective, that accomplishment, that manifestation with a specific time. And remember that the universe doesn't have an essence of time, right? But when our human gets to attach based on past experiences and failures, or even based on comparing from other people that we get jealous of or we look at as a role model, when we should be looking at here and honestly the blood and the people before us as a role model, to see where we need to keep stepping, because they're the ones that are co-creating us and our essence. That's where we can come into claiming that, actually, wait a minute, I am in the right moment. I can do that. Not from ego. I'm not trying to pet your ego here. This is from love. Not from ego, but from love. Actually, yes, I'm in the right space. Yes, I am in this place where I can hold and honor and anchor in that nourishment for me to be able, and stop telling myself I'm unable. I can't do this. I'm not able to do this. When did you allow your tongue to be the fear that is within you? Again, your tongue is a very potent space in the Virgo, and I can say that the tongue is the essence, the energy of Virgo. What you say, Virgo energy, Virgo new moon, is what you become. What you look is what you become. And you're starting to see that, and that is what's making your emotional chaos create itself. But at the same time, it's so beautiful, because new moon is like, you got this opportunity to claim it, to really claim it, not just to say it because it's a new moon right now and I have a ritual, to feel it and to recognize, if I can't say it, okay, what can I do this new moon to nourish that part of me so I can see myself as able. Expectations on oneself comes from experience. What experiences are expected subconsciously that are blocking you from moving forward? So what are the experiences you've had that are coming up 3 days before the day of and 3 days after, that are revisiting and resurfacing, right? And to look at that, even if you've healed it a million times, to look at it, because there's again, remember, the person you were on August 1st is completely different than on September 15th. So recognize that you are revisiting those parts, those wounds, those shadows of you, because that part of you right now is ready to fully, in its power, step into that and be like, I am able to change this experience, to change this narrative, to change this story. I am able to do that. I am powerful to do that, right? We're celebrating that. So again, where are expectations coming from? Who are these expectations coming from? Were they put on you at a young age? Were they put on you at a certain time of your life? Were they put on you by yourself? Were they put on you by the media? Were they put on you by the systems? What are the things that have been put on you, expectation, breaking them up? And on a collective reading, that is something that we're seeing right now. There's so much nuance, so many things that are being revealed that we saw in August, that were shown around the world, and they're going to continue to show before the end of this year, that are like expectations, but also the truth of what experiences have created expectations as us as a collective, right? And it's going to shift the way that kids in the future are going to be taught and learn. It's going to be shifting the way they're learning and just growing up and parented. It's going to shift the detachment of not parents, the new generation parents, not putting that on their children, putting that on the next generation, giving them the baton. But it's a new baton. It's like, you start this new, you start this fresh. You don't have to hold what was there before, right? Which is a whole other thing. So what are the expectations that your mother and your father had? What were the expectations that your grandparents had? What were the expectations? How far can you go in your lineage of your knowing that there was expectation? And how did that mold you to who you are today? Nourish that person, that version of you. Remember the baby, you holding yourself as a baby. How would you love that baby? Every time I hurt myself, I have a self-sabotaging thought, or I do anything that the tip of my tongue becomes sour, I always think of that. I think about, what about that little girl? She doesn't deserve that. Why am I recreating that trauma for that version of me? That doesn't make sense. So this is a Virgo new moon to completely free that being from this expectation, from this confusion, from this reason to question who they were, when there was no need to question at all. Okay, the next thing and the last thing you need to know about this Virgo new moon is that notice that events are happening in your communities and in the world that are catching your eyes and creating this chaos of emotions, giving you FOMO feeling. FOMO meaning fear of missing out. During this time, 3 days before the day of and 3 days after, because there's so much detachment coming out, you know, fully of who you are and this new version of you, there's going to be a fear of missing out from the old communities maybe that you were in, fear of missing out from maybe old habits and the people it was attached to, fear of missing out with family members, fear of missing out within yourself. And just to recognize that it's okay to miss parts of you. I don't think a lot of people talk about this with shadow work. People talk about releasing and detachment and all this stuff, but there is this grieving period that happens. And fall is that. Fall is the leaves are a representation of the tree grieving its season from that year. So it's like this time is for some of you a time of grieving and to nourish that version of you that is grieving in a beautiful way. And there's a lot that you can learn if you praise grief. Praising grief meaning like, how can I honor and see that cycle has ended and celebrate that life? That's why a lot of cultures, for example, celebrate the life that person lived as opposed to sad and like holding that grief of that person's soul and being, holding the grief, because really they're in a higher light. They're in a higher essence. They're in a higher frequency. They have removed themselves from all human baggage, right? So at the end of the day, when we look at FOMO of feeling, it's like asking yourself, what parts of you is feeling triggered by what's happening in the world? Do you just turn off the TV and say, I'm never going to look at news again? Because a lot of us do that. I used to be one of those people, never watch news. And honestly, yeah, I get it. But there's also that essence of like, you need to be somewhat attached to the world to understand where you are in this world, because you are human. You're here for a human experience. You can't just be spirit, soul, and do all the healing work. You got to drop it into the world so you can actually see the reality. And that's where this Virgo new moon comes in, is how much of you are perfecting what it looks like on this level and what it is on the human level. Because at the end of the day, it's a playground and you're going to fall a few times. You're going to get up again and it's all a learning lesson. Life is an evolution. And Virgo is telling you, stop perfecting the evolution, because all of the major sciences, if you think of Einstein, if you think of Mozart, if you think of Gandhi, if you think of Jesus, if you think of any of the, I like to call them the messengers of this world that came here with a very specific message to share with this world. They are essence of consciousness in various different aspects. If they weren't able to create and allow themselves to not have fear of missing out from the old things that failed, fear of missing out of what other people have created and what they didn't create, do you think that they would be able to clearly evoke their message and speak the truth in their tongue? Probably not. So Virgo new moon is all about understanding to stop allowing this fear of missing out, but rather be like, okay, I'm missing this, I'm recognizing that, but also what is here for me to open up to, right? Because that missing is going to help me praise what's coming. That missing is going to help me praise and appreciate what's coming, even if I can't see it. Remember, this life is preparing for something we don't know yet. And that's the great mystery. And you can't plan that as much as you do all the soul lessons. But what it will help you is with this life. And that's why we're doing these new moons. That's why we're doing these full moons. That's why we chat here. It's to help and support you for this experience, because the great mystery of what's to come is unknown, right? But we hope and we honor what is here and what we do know, which is the presence. So stop escaping the presence by expectation, perfectionism, and chaos. Right? Stop focusing on those things. Look at the bigger picture. What is here to see? What is new that you need to see for this new moon? So I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I felt like I just went into a power depth. It's so interesting without the cards, like being able to go really deep with you guys. Please let me know down below what you felt resonated for this Virgo new moon that's happening on September 15, 2023. I'd love to hear. And it's just been such a treat to chat with you guys and bring the energy here as I'm here in Prague. And yeah, I'm really excited. Again, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, like, subscribe, put notification bells, share with your friends. And the last thing I'll also say is I'm opening my one-on-one. So if you're feeling called to work with me one-on-one this fall to help you shed whatever you need to shed, message me through my link tree, my link down below in the description. And you can message me through my email. That's the best way to contact me. Lastly, all the wounded healers, all the ones with the big missions, all the ones with the big dharmas, ready to create a mission beyond their lifetime, eternally. When you leave this human life, for your message, for your essence to continue in this life, to continue to breathe, to be like a tree, to create a legacy as a light worker. And that is your path. I invite you to apply for the Earth Dharma training program that's happening for 2024. It's a one-year program to help support and to teach you how to be that essence of a guide in this world for your Dharma. Again, there's only one of me and there's one of you and there's one of us, but as we go together and we learn, and it's something that I'm so passionate about, is this teaching of aspect. And yeah, it's a very potent program. We're learning elemental work, we're learning Reiki, we're learning, and Reiki's a tool. I don't make it the main focus. We're learning the altar aspect. You're getting into initiation. You're learning deep ancient practices so you can support your beings, your clients, the people who are meant for your energy. So it's amazing. And for those of you who are already a space holder that want to elevate your space holding, stop playing small in the sense of you've shifted to the soul work and now it's like, okay, what's in my human reality doesn't match with where I'm going and I'm scared or I don't know how to navigate that. This program's for you. So go do the meditation. Then after, if you feel like it's still aligned, fill out that form and then I will reach out to those that feel aligned. There are only 8 to 10 spots available. And for those who apply first, there's a special surprise for you. So thank you for hanging out with me. This was so much fun. I had so much fun with you guys. I'll be posting the Virgo new moon meditation for you guys in the next video. And I hope you have a beautiful Virgo new moon. Bye.